If I can train you to sit still on command, I can train you to obey on command. That's the ugly secret nobody wants to say out loud. Mass mindfulness takes a scalpel designed for liberation and turns it into a compliance tool. Your stress is not a malfunction, it is a signal. But the industry packages sedation as peace, and the office unrolls yoga mats the week after layoffs. HR says, let's all take a mindful breath, which really means please regulate your outrage so we don't have to regulate our behavior. Apps whisper, let go, and your nervous system learns a new trick: swallow the boundary and call it spiritual. Meditation, in its fierce origin, aimed to free attention from compulsions, grasping, aversion, delusion. Somewhere between venture backed platforms and pastel graphics, it became lubricant. It makes you slide through dysfunctional systems with a softer face. Be present, mutated into be quiet. Non judgment became no judgment allowed. Breath cues plus group silence lower arousal, yes, but they also raise suggestibility. In that softened state, the room's dominant frame slides in like butter. Accept, adapt, align. You exit calmer and somehow less capable of saying no. This is not an attack on contemplation. It is an indictment of context. Tools are neutral, deployments aren't. We've turned mindful attention, attention that should sharpen discernment, into a mood stabilizer for institutions allergic to ethics. We spiritualize avoidance. Anger is low vibe. Grief is attachment. Dissent is ego. The vocabulary floats above the ground while the ground keeps burning. Tonight I'm pulling wires. I'll show how breath can muffle dissent, how scripted silences create a yes set trance, how share from the I can devolve into a gag rule, and how calm washing reframes harm as your personal reaction. Then I'll hand you antidotes: consent based practice, explicit space for disagreement, information hygiene so your inputs don't poison your outputs, and a 10-minute counterspell that ends in action, not posture. If your calm cannot speak a boundary, it's not calm, it's captivity with incense. I'm silent flame. If this opening makes you uncomfortable, good. Discomfort is the first honest sign that attention has woken up from being managed. Follow the money and the metrics. Mindfulness exploded not where people were already free, but where productivity was sovereign. Companies learned a trick: cool the worker, not the workload. Teach breath, keep pressure. If dashboards improve, who cares if the soul shrinks? This is mass psychology 101. Redirect the crowd from cause to coping. Convert systemic friction into personal regulation exercises. When millions regulate without ever organizing, nothing structural has to change. Mechanism 1: arousal down, suggestibility up, narrowed attention, softened voice, synchronized breathing. This combo lowers physiological threat while making the dominant narrative feel safer to swallow. Mechanism 2: emotion rebrand. Anger becomes unskillful, sadness becomes low vibe, grief is attachment to form. Everything that would fuel change gets pathologized as a personal flaw. Mechanism 3: virtue fog. Non judgment drifts into no ethical judgment. You're invited to watch everything without ever naming harm. Mechanism 4: productization. Experiences are chopped into 7-minute sessions with badges, streaks, and soothing notifications. A pacification loop masquerading as wisdom. Real Dharma does not neuter emotion, it transmutes it. Anger is not a contaminant, it's an alarm for violated boundaries. Fear is not always ignorance. Sometimes it is accurate caution. Grief does not make you weak. It is proof you can bond. Mindfulness that refuses to feel is not mindful. It is managerial. The point is not to be unbothered. The point is to be undominated by sensation while remaining responsive to reality. Ask a ruthless question after any corporate calm initiative: what changed besides mood? Was workload redistributed? Were harmful policies revised? Did anyone with power absorb cost? If the only thing that changed was your breathing pattern, congratulations, you've been optimized as a unit. Liberation focuses on conditions, lubrication focuses on compliance. If your practice never asks who profits from your peace, it's time to upgrade your questions. Let's name the moves so you can see them coming. 1. Silence as policy. Share from the eye, no debate, hold space. Beautiful principles until they become a gag rule. Power loves rooms where critique is not mindful. When disagreement must be whispered or coded, decisions calcify, and harm persists beneath a velvet hush. 2. Purity tests. Doubt is ego. Anger is low vibe. If you were truly awake, this wouldn't bother you. You confess concerns as attachments. They collect your obedience as growth. The standard moves from ethics to affect. Look serene, gain status. 3. Yes, set trance. Breath cues, soft cadence, repeated micro agreements. Noticing the breath. Yes, good. Neurologically, you're eased into a compliance rhythm. Then the agenda slips in. Accept, adapt, align. The tool that should open choice now narrows it. 4. Calm washing. Harm is reframed as your reaction. He didn't gaslight you. You're triggered. It's not exploitation. Check your scarcity mindset. The system remains sacred while your nervous system takes the blame. 5. Performative vulnerability. Leaders share curated tears. Nothing structural shifts. You applaud authenticity while the spreadsheet keeps extracting. These are not conspiracies. They're techniques, neutral moves misapplied. The fix is not to burn the cushion. It is to embed consent and critique inside the ritual. Declare intent up front. Relaxation, clarity, decision, name risks, dissociation, bypass, heightened suggestibility, offer options, eyes open or closed, stillness or micro movement, narrow or wide focus, signal stop, a visible gesture meaning pause that anyone can use without penalty, invite disagreement explicitly after practice, not as a footnote but as a design feature, debrief in reality, what behavior or policy changes next. Mindfulness with no teeth becomes manners. Mindfulness with teeth becomes discernment. You're not here to glow, you're here to see. Write your questions in the comments. You give me a like and a follow. I'll give you an answer. You cannot stay free on a poisoned feed. Algorithms weaponize arousal. Mass mindfulness tries to tranquilize it. Both keep you scrolling. The exit isn't more calm. It's clean input followed by calm. Peace is not the absence of triggers. It is the presence of filters you intentionally set. Protocol, weekly feed audit, unfollow outrage factories and spiritual cotton candy. Keep sources that challenge you in good faith. Add one channel that argues against your current belief without insults. Two-tier news, headlines once daily, long form twice weekly. No doom drip. Replace hot takes with slow reads. Friction by design. Grayscale your phone. Remove one infinite scroll. Disable non-human notifications. Friction frees attention. Creation before consumption. 15 minutes of output, writing, voice note, sketch before you open any feed. You recenter identity as creator, not consumer. Debias ritual. For every strong take you hold, write the best counter argument in 3 sentences. If you can't, you don't have a view, you have a vibe. Context tagging. Before you meditate, label your current context. Work stress, family grief, deadline crunch. The mind you are calming is not generic. Treat it accordingly. Meditate after hygiene, not before. Otherwise, you are polishing a lens coated in sludge. Ask, what do I allow into my nervous system? and who benefits from my agitation. Information hygiene is compassion turned outward, protection for the animal you live in. Once the feed is clean, calm becomes clarity, not anesthesia. Non judgment means noticing without hate. It never meant no ethics. When leaders wave mindful language to dodge moral evaluation, they don't elevate consciousness, they evade accountability. A Sangha allergic to truth is not safe, it is staged. Practice should sharpen discernment. What helps, what harms, who pays the cost. After any sit, the useful question isn't, was I calm, but what truth did I avoid? Did I fail to name exploitation because I craved belonging? Did I brand my anger as unskillful so I wouldn't have to set a boundary? Did I use impermanence to justify passivity while someone else bled? Pair meditation with values training, justice, identify one misallocation of cost, move a resource, honesty, deliver one uncomfortable sentence today, compassion, offer support that costs you a little, courage, make the call you've rehearsed in your head for a month, temperance, subtract one excess that inflames your mind, make values behavioral, boundary, repair, refusal, service. Calm becomes capacity, not camouflage. If your sanctuary cannot host hard speech, it's not sacred, it's curated. If your mentor has never apologized in public, you're not in a wisdom tradition, you're in a theater. The point of attention is not to glow more beautifully while harm accelerates. The point is to aim attention where it actually changes outcomes. New rule: no more covert hypnosis disguised as mindfulness. We make consent structural, not optional. Here's the template. 1. Intent. We say why we're doing this. Sit, down regulation, clarity, decision, grief holding. Different aims, different methods. 2. Risks. We name them dissociation, bypass, resurfacing trauma, heightened suggestibility, not to scare people, but to return agency. Awareness of risk is the difference between practice and performance. 3. Options: eyes open or closed, stillness or micro movement, narrow attention, breath at nostrils, or wide awareness, sounds, contact points. You choose, you switch without punishment. 4. Stop signal, a visible gesture anyone can use to pause the room. No explanations needed. The group learns that safety beats aesthetic. 5. Post-sit debrief. 3 questions. What changed in body? What changed in thought? What changed in ethics? Truth faced, boundary needed, repair planned. Sits end in orientation, not applause. 6. Exit to action. We ask for one tangible move before the next meeting. Email sent, policy reviewed, resource shifted. Practice feeds reality. The result: depth increases, not decreases. People trust a container that does not coerce. They explore further because they can leave. They speak honestly because disagreement is invited. The teacher stops being the thermostat and becomes the host. Consent turns mindfulness from a funnel into a forge. You don't slide into shape. You are tempered by heat and choice. Meditation that cannot produce action is posture. Here's a 10-minute ritual that ends with a deed. 00 to 200. Hygiene. Phone face down, one window open. Name 3 contact points: feet, seat, air. Soften jaw and tongue. We're telling the animal, safe enough to notice. 2 to 4. Wide awareness. Eyes soft. Hear 3 sounds. Feel 3 surfaces. See 1 horizontal line. No tunnel, no trance. We're keeping peripheral vision online so suggestions can't sneak past. 4 to 6. Ethics check. Ask, what truth am I avoiding? Who is impacted if I keep avoiding it? Write 1 boundary, 1 repair, or 1 refusal. If nothing arises, choose service, a small kindness that costs you a little. 6 to 8. Choose your tool. Blade, stoic. List influence/no influence. Pick 1 action under influence. Prep first sentence. Balm, Buddhist. Hand to the tight spot. Breathe around edges. Whisper 1 meta line. May I be safe enough to act wisely. 8 to 10, commit. Send the line, schedule the call, decline the thing, put the resource where the mouth is, close the loop with 1 minute of standing, eyes on a far point, breath easy. This is how calm and courage coexist. Run it daily, track outputs, truths told, repairs made, ships sent. Calm with teeth does not make you nicer, it makes you useful. You become the person in the room whose stillness doesn't anesthetize the group. It steadies it and then moves it. Here's my dare. Has mindfulness ever been used to shut you up? Tell me where, by whom, and how you took your voice back. If you think I'm wrong, prove it. Show me a practice that produces action instead of posture, boundaries instead of branding, repair instead of reputation management. I will feature the best counterexamples and name them as allies. Meditation isn't the enemy, mass misuse is. We don't need less awareness. We need awareness that refuses pacification. Breathe, but don't blur. Be present, but don't be pliable. Learn to sense the moment the room tries to turn your regulation into their advantage. Then pivot, widen attention, reintroduce ethics, choose a value, do a deed. Teach your community to build containers where dissent is welcomed like oxygen. If your teacher cannot say, I was wrong, they are training your nervous system for theater. If your Sangha cannot hold a hard sentence without shaming the speaker's vibes, it's time to rebuild or leave. If your calm cannot survive a boundary, it was never calm, it was camouflage. I'm silent flame. I won't soothe you into submission. I will wake you into agency. The comment section is not decoration, it's our lab. Put your story there. Success, failure, harm, repair. Name the tactics, name the antidotes, name the policies that actually changed. Let's make attention dangerous again, not to people, but to the systems that prefer us soft, silent, and endlessly scrolling.